Alright, today we are going to work with materials and mapping and a little bit of camera work. So the first thing we're going to do is create a box which will be a egg carton. So go ahead and create any size box. I'm going to create mine 20 by 60 by 10. Sounds about right. Length, segments, width, and height. We're going to make this a little bit bigger than we normally do. Let's go 2, 6, 4, 12, and 20. 4, 12, and 5. And to see those segments, press F4 and you get a map out of your grid. As you can see, the more complicated the number goes up, the more complicated your object is. Let's rename this egg carton. Make mine a green so that you guys can see it a little bit better. Alright, not the best egg carton, but it's not even close to being a good one. We'll add a top to it a little bit later. I'm going to add a mesh smooth to it, round off the edges a little bit, makes it look a little nicer. But I want to make sure that when I start cutting my egg holes in here, I'm not messing around with the curved edges. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to create some eggs. So we're going to go into our 4 quad viewports. I'm going to go top down here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to create the outline of where I think an egg should go. I already see that my object is not wide enough, so I'm going to have to go in here. I'm going to make my length, let's go 25. There we go. Let's go and create some spheres now. Our goal is to get 2 of them on here. And that looks like it's going to fit. Okay, excellent. So we got 2 eggs now. Delete that second one until I get the first one to my liking. I'm going to stretch this up a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the scale modifier and we're going to stretch it up so it's egg shaped. Here we go. Eggs are usually a little bit higher towards the end. There we go. Perfect. I'm happy with that. Last thing I'm going to do is segments. For the sake of brevity, we're going to go 20 segments. It's going to speed up our rendering a little bit. Radius, I'm just making it even 5.5. Hemisphere doesn't really matter right now. And that's good. So sphere 1, we're going to change that to egg 01. And we're going to shift and hold 1 down here. We're going to go copy. And I'm going to do that the other way as well. And I think 4 should do it. Oh, 4 is knocking me out a little bit. I'm going to select all my eggs and move them over. Perfect. Okay. So, not the best looking egg crate at all, but not bad either. You know, I think I want all of these to be a little bit smaller. So instead of changing the actual dimension, I'm going to just shrink down the the eggs individually. And just so you know what I did there, I changed the pivot point of my scaler. Originally it is here, which is the middle of all the objects you have selected, so when you scale up and down they go in unison from that middle point. I changed the pivot point to each individual item. You see a slight gray one on each egg, and now I'm able to scale in and out per egg. So that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so a little smaller now. I'm happy with that. Go ahead and select the eggs, go up to Edit and Clone. and go ahead and click OK. Now, you can't see it now, but there's two sets of eggs on top of each other. If you press H and you go to your scene listings, you can see I have the second set of eggs highlighted, the first set of eggs not highlighted. So the second set is here. What we're going to do is hide the second set. So what we do is we right click. Uh-oh, got a little feedback. I said right click and click hide selection. That second set that we just created is now hidden. It's not in our scene anymore. The reason is when we use these eggs to boolean our egg carton, we want our eggs still to be there. So we're going to take the egg carton. We're going to go up to the create option. You guys should have done this already. Compound objects and the pro boolean. Make sure we're at subtraction here. And we're going to start picking. And go ahead and start picking the eggs. Okay, once they're all done, you can turn off that start picking and you can click out. What I'm going to do is right click, go unhide all, and my eggs are back there. My second set of eggs are back there, and they're fitting, as you can see, neatly in the egg gaps. If I take one of these eggs and I move it up and out, there's my egg hole. Perfect. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, so having said that, alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to start applying materials to our eggs. It'll give us an opportunity to play around with the materials. So go ahead and press M to open up your Slate Material Editor. And bring in a standard material. Double click the standard, and you got a standard material number 52 here. Your number will be different. Diffuse color is the color that we want to change. Diffuse is the actual color itself. It's the object color. And we're going to go on with green. So we're going to click and grab the radio and just drag it on one of the eggs. And do that for a few of them. Bring in another standard. Change the diffuse. And bring in another standard. This one I'm going to add a marble material. Drag that on. To render things in the viewport, you click the Show Standard Map in Viewport button. I think I want the size a little bit bigger here. Change these two. I don't care for those two colors. Green, there we go. I'm going to keep bringing stuff in here. Standard, double click, there it is. Diffuse colors, grab another one. This time we're going to grab a gradient. So my gradient's going to be definitely not those colors. We're going to go yellow, a little bit of green. Oh, that's a nice one. Drag that in on one of the eggs. Show it up. Size is going to be a bit too big. Maybe go smaller. This is a small egg carton that we're creating here. There we go, that looks pretty good. And do that for a few more here, standard. As you can see, this gets a bit complicated. I'm a fan of the old compact material, but this is where it's leading, so this is what we have to use. Smoke. Bit too drastic a color. Okay, So we've got a few different colors. Finally, I'm going to create the cartoning material. Let's go standard, diffuse, add a noise or cellular. We'll go cellular. Apply that to the egg crate, egg carton. There we go. Not the best looking carton. Didn't spend a lot of time on this either. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to take out a few of these and just have them rolling around a little bit. And it's always probably a good idea to change the generic colors on some of these to just make it look a little bit better. If you're using a wireless mouse, things can get a little sticky. And you do the same thing with these. You can rename them so that you can easily follow which ones are which. Alright, with the eggs out there, what we're going to do is we're going to create a plane and ground for them to actually be on. .300 by 300, so it's a good number. Bring it down a little bit. Looks pretty good. And this is a pretty good view as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create, I'm going to go to view, I'm going to go create camera from view. So now we've got a camera in the scene. If I click perspective, P, I'm now able to zoom out. So now we have a camera in the scene. Last thing we're going to want to do is create a light. Photometric, no, we're going to go standard. So under create tab, lights, standard. Then we're just going to go, we're going to go with the spotlight. Yeah, mental ray area spot. Okay. And we're going to go into our top viewport, and right from the middle on it, looks good. And then in this viewport, we're going to raise it up a little bit. Change this to our camera view. We turn on the scene lights here. Just get a quick render. And rendering is done. Very basic, but it gives you a principle of applying different materials and lighting and camera work. I dropped my two eggs to the ground. They were up in the air, so the shadows they're a little bit better now. I'm going to create an Omni Light Advanced Effects. This will be ambient only.